Good morning, friends. We ran into another issue with this Olympia SM7 that I got in, that I did the whole video on the tab brake system. You guys watched that. If you didn't, then yeah, whatever. Doesn't matter. We're here for a new problem. And this problem comes up a lot with typewriters, and it's a problem that can be frustrating, but it's super simple to fix. And it just takes the knowledge to know what needs to be adjusted to get that fix. And this is the fix that I'm talking about. Your carriage normally moves like you would expect, but then when you get to the end of the line, it jams. It's stuck, and you always wonder why is my thing stuck? And then if you notice, if you give it a little push that way, you'll hear it click, and then it frees up again. What's happening here is that this end tab stop, or the end margin stop, my apologies, when it reaches its final destination, the whole time I kind of jumped ahead. I know you guys don't want to hear all these explanations on how and why, but that's how I work. I work with like the how and the why things work. And so you have to kind of start at the beginning. And I know I go through these long explanations on the how and the why of the engineering, but you have to understand that in order to find the fix. Your escapement, we talked about a lot, and it runs on that carriage rack. And in the previous videos on the SM1, I showed that we adjusted the importance of that carriage rack to escapement interference. And this is all timing. It's all in time. There's a certain amount of gears that run, and a certain amount of steps. And what happens is when you have a maladjusted margin stop on the end, you're kind of stuck halfway in between the cycle of the system inside there. There's like the little stopper guys, that the pawls and the stuff that grab and hold and keep the carriage from only going one direction. Those have to be in time and in sync for everything to work like it should. And a lot of times it's not. So the fix for that is it's a simple fix on this margin rack. You loosen up this screw, and you loosen up that screw right there. And then when you get to the end of your line and it jams like that, it's not going to be halfway stuck in there, because we're going to time this to be correct. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm going to try to do it here live, and hopefully I'm just not talking out of my line. This is going to prove me wrong. We're not here to prove, we're here to just fix. So I'm going to loosen up these carriage, or I'm going to have to use because this has the key set tabulator rack on it. This key set tabulator system that's right here is blocking the screw. And fortunately, Olympia knew that, and they gave us a wrench option, not just a flathead option. And it is you could see that it's been messed with before, because it already has some marks of slipping a wrench on it. And it's a 5.5, so I'm going to loosen up this 5.5 on this side. Just loosen it, it doesn't have to be taken off. And then I'll loosen up this side right there. And in theory, now this rack should be adjustable left or right. Let's see if we're getting movement out of it, or if it's stuck. Let's loosen it up. There it goes. It's difficult to see. It's difficult to see the movement of the rack. Let me loosen it up anyway. So guys, I loosened up these screws enough to get this margin rack to move. And you could see, I'm using the margin stops to move. You could see the rack move back and forth like so. And that's how you time your margin rack. And if it's not in time, you have that adjustment. They put that adjustment in there on purpose. So I'm just gonna randomly pick a spot, and that's all it is. It's just randomly choosing your test run and hope it works out the first time. Oops, I'm using the wrong size, guys. I'm using the 6. So we'll tighten this down, and then we'll tighten this one down. Oh, sorry. I'm working and holding the camera. Hopefully this isn't too jarring for you guys. I'm doing this one-handed. But now we'll see if when it goes to its spot, if it releases. Yep. There we hit the bell and the end of the margin stop, and now we're getting bell. We're at our margin stop, and a simple slow push gets it going again. So no more jamming at the end of the line, which is a common thing. End of line jams, and people usually just live through it or deal with it or chalk it up to the typewriter being faulty. But that's all it is. Just the error of this timing system on this thing. So impromptu video, guys. Didn't plan or think anything through, so we just kind of went on the fly and did with it. It's early in the morning. I had to get started really early today because I have a lot of stuff to do. Thanks for watching, guys.